So the first thing I'm going to do today is just a real quick review of what we did last week, just for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to create a VoiceThread. I'm going to go through the process here. I am on my VoiceThread homepage. All right, that's what you see on the screen right now. To create a VoiceThread, I would come up here to the top and click on the plus sign. And now I have a number of ways that I can bring content in. I'm going to focus on the add from computer option today. So I'm going to click add from computer, and I'm going to bring in a single image file. That's what I recommend. I'm going to give this VoiceThread a title. I'm going to call this Basics 2 and click save. Just for your edification, if you've never seen this before, if you've never joined us for a workshop of Basics 1, I am going to record a comment on this VoiceThread now. So I'm going to open the VoiceThread up, and I can see on the bottom in the left-hand corner, there's a plus sign with a little word bubble. If I click on that, I can see my commenting options: text, audio, webcam, and file upload. So I'm going to start an audio comment, and now I'm recording. All right, I also can doodle on the slide just by clicking and dragging my cursor around. All right, and that's because of the doodle tool. So I can choose different colors and decide if I want my drawing to fade or not. All right, and I can do that just by clicking and dragging. All right, now when I'm done, I click stop recording. It'll process my comment and play it back for me. And then I can choose to cancel, save, or record more. Comments. And now I'm recording. All right, so that sounds good. I click save, and my comment appears in the conversation channel for slide 1. All right, and then I can navigate to other slides if I had them. So let's get into the group creation process. All right, so on the left-hand side of your homepage, there's a groups and courses panel. For some of you, it may be collapsed. There's a little chevron tab in the left side. So it may be collapsed or it may be open depending on what your last action was, but you can always close or open it as you like just by clicking on that chevron to kind of open it up. All right, now the first tab that opens is your courses. These are basically the same things as groups, but these are automatically created whenever you add a VoiceThread link in your learning management system. So if you have VoiceThread integrated into your institution's Blackboard, as soon as you create a VoiceThread link through that integration, you will see a course group show up in your courses panel. All right, and they look and work the same way as groups, except that the courses are automatically created groups, and students are automatically added to those groups whenever they click on a VoiceThread link that's in your course. So that's all automatic, and that's one of the features of the integration. All right, you don't need to manually add members. But we also have manually created groups, and that's the tab underneath courses. All right, so you can see the courses is like a little book icon. The groups is a little group of 3 people icon. So if I click on that, you can see the title changes to groups. All right, and I have all of my manually created groups. So why would you need a manually created group? Well, there's a number of reasons. For most of you who use VoiceThread in a learning management system, the course group that gets automatically created is enough. However, let's say you're an instructional design or instructional support person, and maybe you work with the School of Business. So maybe you have some VoiceThreads that you're working on faculty. You're working with faculty on these VoiceThreads, and you want a place to share them, and you're not in their course. All right, if you're not in their course, you can manually create a group, and you can drag and drop VoiceThreads into the group. You can work on them together with faculty members or other people in your department. Maybe you teach maybe you teach section 1 of a course, and one of your colleagues in your department teaches section 2, and another colleague teaches section 3. But you want to kind of use the same materials. You can share what you're using with that group. You add your colleagues to the group as members, and they're the only people who have access to it, and you can drag and drop your VoiceThreads in there. Maybe you do tutoring. Maybe you work on the K-12 level and you're tutoring some students. You can manually create a group. All right, so there are a few other use cases, but those are kind of the main ones, right? You manually create a group, and it's a way that you can share VoiceThreads with a number of people all at once. So how do I create them? Well, I'm on the groups panel. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to create a group, And I'm going to show you one of the ways that you can have people add themselves to the group. So I see groups up here. I'm on the groups tab. I click on this three-dot menu, and the option there says add new group. So I click add new group, and I'm going to give this a name. Now I'm going to title this 2024 and my name. All right. So when it comes time for you to create a group, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to title it 2024 and your name, but you don't need to do that yet. Then I click create. All right. Now the group has been created. Now I'm in the group. All right. But I don't have anything in here. I can add VoiceThreads by clicking here and going through. I can go back to my home page and then I can drag and drop VoiceThreads in, or I can add members. All right. So what I'm going to do is click add members. And what we're going to see is that I have an add members button here. I'm the only person in the group right now. And you can see my role is administrator. So now I want to add some folks to this group. So I'm going to click add members. And I have three ways to do this. I can go into my contacts and pick out people from my contacts. So let me show you that one first. Let's say I wanted to add some of these people. I can check and then add those three to the group. All right, but maybe I don't want to. Maybe that's not the plan. I can go into my other courses or other groups and add people from there. All right, so let's say I have a bunch of students in my course group and I want to bring some of them into this manually created group. I can click on add members. I can go into my courses. And let's say I want to go into this one. I want to see the members. All right, now I see these folks. I can click on their names. They're automatically added because they clicked on a link in my learning management system, right? And then I can add them that way. So you can go into your manually created groups, you can go into your course groups, or you can go into your contacts. These are ways to add people. All right, now, the way I'm going to show you is the way to have people add themselves, and this is what you are going to do. So the final option says add members via sign up link. So I'm going to click here, and I can see I can copy this link. And now it's been copied to my clipboard. Now I'm going to paste this in the chat in Zoom. And then when I paste it, you can click on it, and you will add yourself to my 2024 George group. All right, so I just added it in the chat. Take a moment to click on it if you want to be added to the group. If you add LTI links in your course as part of the integration and a student clicks on them, they will be added to your course group. Remember, the course groups are basically the same things as groups, except this is all automatic. That what we're working on today are the manually created groups here. I'm going to go into my group here. All right, and I can see the members. So all of you, I'm not going to read your names all off, but you can see your names in the list. All of these folks have added themselves to the group by clicking on the link. All right, now Brenda, I can upgrade her to administrator. Maybe I have another, maybe Brenda is working with me on, preparing materials for faculty or something like that, and I want to make her an administrator of the group as well. I can do that. You can always upgrade people, whatever their role may be. All right, but in general, people will just be members. All right, so you can see all of those folks have added themselves manually as members. All right, now I do see a question. When I shared a VoiceThread with my colleague, I learned that my students and her students worked on the same VoiceThread, so how can I prevent this? So if you share a VoiceThread with your colleagues and they share it with their class, then everybody who has access to it can work on it. If you don't want that to happen, what you would do is make a copy and share the copy. All right, so it will be the same content in the VoiceThread, but they would be different instances. So what I'm going to do now is actually show you one of the ways to make a copy. We'll talk about that more in the Basics 3 workshop, but just so you see now, there'll be a little alternate way to do some of the stuff we're going to do in the Basics 3. So let's say I wanted to share this VoiceThread that says Basics 2 with my 2024 George group that you are all in. I can take this and drag and drop it to that group. And now the first pop-up I see will give me a few options. Do I want to share the original? Or do I want to make copies and share those copies? All right, so if I click make copies, and continue. Now I have to decide, do I want to copy all of the comments, only my comments, or none of the comments? So let's go with only my comments. And do I want to retitle this? Well, maybe just to keep them straight in my mind, I'll call this Basics 2 Copy, or maybe I'll call this Basics 2 for Section 3, something to distinguish it from the original, right? And then I click Continue. And now, what kind of permissions will all of you in the group have? View access only? Will you be able to view and comment? Or will you be able to view, comment, and edit? And I apologize for the lack of the Oxford comma there, but I'm going to go with view and comment. Not that I don't trust you, but let's simulate how this might work with students. Normally, you wouldn't want to give students edit access to a VoiceThread because they could delete it and see moderated comments and all of that stuff. So you just want them to be able to view and comment. So I click Continue. All right, and now when I go into that group, there we go. All right, 2024 George, I can see this has been shared with the group. All right, now I could also share this way. If I'm in the group, I can just click Add a VoiceThread. I can create a brand new one right now, or I can select from my VoiceThreads. If I click there, I can share this VoiceThread. Maybe I want to share this one. I can share with the group, and then what's the access level? View, comment, edit. I want them to be able to comment, and there we go. All right, so those are some of the ways to do this. Now I can take this VoiceThread, I can drag and drop this one. Let's say I want to share the original, click Continue, give everybody view and comment access. Maybe I want to share this one, I drag and drop it, share the original, view and comment. Most of the time, that's probably what you'll do, right? You'll share the original, you'll view and comment, but you may want to share a copy instead of sharing the original. You may want to only give them view access, or you may want to upgrade them to be able to edit, right? If you're working with a colleague on a VoiceThread, you want them to be able to edit it. You might upgrade them to view and edit and all of that stuff. Okay, so that's the basic idea behind manually creating a group. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to manually add me to the group. All right, so I'm going to put my email address and name in the chat, and I'll also post it up on the screen, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So you're in your group, you're going to click Add Members, you're going to click Add Members again, and you're going to click Add Members from Contacts. Now, because you don't have me as a contact yet, you're going to click Add Contact. You're going to put in my name, which is George Haynes. You're going to put in my email, and I will post this on the screen and put it in the chat as well. Haynes and click Add. That will add me as a contact. And then you need to check my name. You'll see my identity image there. If you don't see an image for me, it means you may have mistyped the email. All right, so just make sure you look for me in your contacts, you check the box, and you click Add One to Group. Let's take a look-see. All right, so I'm going to Groups. All right, so I do see Basics 2 CS. I see Becky Group. All right, but in the meantime, what I want you to try to do is try and drag and drop a VoiceThread into your group. All right, so if you created your group, go to your home page, you can click on the VT icon to get back to your home page. You can take a VoiceThread and just drag and drop it in there, and then try and share the original, maybe go view and comment. All right, try and drag and drop them in there. Share the original, view and comment. And remember, the other way to do it is to go into the group itself by clicking on it. You can click Add a VoiceThread and then select from your VoiceThreads, share with group. All right, so those are two ways to do it. You can drag and drop from your home page, or you can add from within the group. All right, so now what I want to do is show you how to identify who has access to the VoiceThread. So there's a few ways to do this. Or I should say, there's one way to do it, but there's a few ways to get there. So for this VoiceThread, I can click from my homepage on this three dot menu, open up the sharing menu, and I can see who this voice thread has been shared with. All right. So if I want to remove access, I can go down here and click revoke access and then save. And now that group has lost access to that voice thread. I could do it again, revoke access, and save. All right. So that's one way to do that. All right. Now I can also open the voice thread up. And up at the top in the media player, there's a little silhouette. And I can click on that and I can see who this voice thread has been shared with. Same place, right? It brings me to the same sharing menu. I can also get there through this three dot menu and then click share, and it brings me to the same place. All right. So these are all different ways to get to the same place. So you can always open the sharing menu by clicking on that little silhouette and decide what kind of access you want. You can change the access. Maybe you just want the people to view it, right? Maybe like a deadline has passed and you don't want to accept any comments. All right, now the other way you can revoke access is to go into the group itself. And if you hover over that three dot, you have this little remove icon. All right, so that's another way to remove a voice thread. So I can click remove and it just says, are you sure you want to remove it? And I remove it. All right, so Nicole's asking, can people download and save voice threads without permission? It depends on your settings. So if you allow others to make a copy, they can make a copy of your voice thread. And if you allow others to export, that's how they would download it as like a video file. So as long as you don't have those are not on by default. If you don't check those, then they won't be able to make a copy or download the voice thread. All right, so now I want to do one final thing with you, and that is deleting a group. All right, so I want you to go to your group, and if you click in the three dot menu, you can see delete group is one of the options. All right, I want you to delete the group that you created. You'll get a confirmation. Are you sure you want to delete it? Click delete, and then another double confirmation, just click delete again. And that will do it. Then I just want to show you one last thing before we wrap it up today. All right, so one of the other things you can do is create subgroups. Subgroups are basically the exact same things as groups, but they're attached to some other group or course. So let's say I have a course group. Remember, these are the ones that get automatically created when you have VoiceThread integrated in a learning management system, right? So I have a course group created. Now let's say I want to create a subgroup off of this course group. All right, this is the same thing basically as creating a manually created group, except they are attached to your course group. So if you use VoiceThread within your learning management system, this may be an option that you want for like student group work. So I'm in this group, all right? And the way to do this is to go to that three dot menu and click create subgroups. And now I decide how many subgroups do I want to create? Well, let's say maybe I'm going to create 3. And do I want to apply custom names? Well, maybe I have custom names. I've already told the groups the name of their group, so I'm going to apply these custom names. So instead of just calling it, the name of the main course group is called One VoiceThread Certified Educator Cohort Sample. All right, so everything would just be called One VoiceThread Certified Educator Cohort Sample 1, One VoiceThread Certified Educator Cohort Sample 2, etc. But I can adjust these and customize them as I like. So maybe I've color coded them. So maybe we have a blue group, and maybe we have a red group, and maybe we have a gold group. And then I click create. And that will create those subgroups. All right, now I refresh, I could see those subgroups that appear right underneath. All right. And these work the same way as the manually created groups. All right. So I can click on the blue subgroup. I can add members. All right. And we have those same options we went over. I can get a sign up link and email the members of the blue group and say, hey, click on this link to join the blue group. Or I can manually add them from my course group or from my contacts. I can do the same with the gold. I click on gold. I can add members through all of those same options. All right. And you can drag and drop voice threads into the group. You can add by clicking add a voice thread. You have all of those options there for you. They work just the same way that manually created groups are, and that's really all they are. They're just manually created groups, but they are attached to a larger group. All right. In this case, it happens to be a course group, but I could do this with any of my manually created groups as well. I can add subgroups to them. All right, so that's how it works. And if I wanted to delete one of these subgroups, I could do that. I can go in here and click delete group, delete, and delete. All right, so that's the same principle. They all work the same way. And as you can see now, sometimes you may have to refresh your browser, but you can see the blue group has been 86th and the gold and the red are still there. All right, I could go through and delete all of those as I like, but that's the way it works, right? So you can drag and drop voice threads into those groups. You can go in and you can remove voice threads from those groups, and you can delete, just like you can with a manually created group, because that's all they are. All right, so I just wanted to show you that additional feature. That is all we have for today. I just want to thank everybody for joining today. It was a pleasure to work with you. I hope you have a great rest of your August, and happy voice threading, everybody. Take care.